Was this not an offensive masterclass? OG Anunoby sets a career high with 40 points. Jalen Brunson sets a career high with 17 assists. Karl Anthony Towns puts up another double-double, 30 and 15. The New York Knicks reset a franchise record, or I should say retied a franchise record with 45 assists dating back all the way to 1979 in a game versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. They have also hit the season high for total points in a game, which no NBA team has done, and no NBA team this year has hit 45 assists. This was an offensive blowout of all proportions. What is going on, everyone? This is Luca here from Knicks Cast, recapping a blowout victory. Knicks 27-point victory, 145-118 over the Denver Nuggets in Ball Arena, trying to cap off their West Coast trip. Now they have Dallas on Wednesday. They will be facing a Luca Doncic-less Mavericks team, but they do have Kyrie Irving, so that is indeed a tough matchup. They just beat Atlanta 129-119. And the Knicks now, with this win over the Denver Nuggets, improved to 2-1 on the road trip and 10-7 overall. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I'm not going to break this down into quarters, maybe some sort of segments. But the one star we have to talk about first is OG Anunoby. Over the last several games, the Knicks, first of all, have won 7 of their last 10, so they're starting to gain their chemistry. In those games, OG has averaged 22.3 points per game on 67% true shooting, 6.1 rebounds per game, and 1.5 steals over that span. Tonight, he scored 40 points on 16 of 23 from the field, 5 of 7 from 3. And the stats don't do enough justice for OG Anunoby. Yes, he scored 40 points. That's unbelievable. But just watching the game overall, just like and we all know about his impact defensively. He gets in the gaps. He disrupts ball handlers. He always puts his hands to the ball. He gets his hands dirty defensively. And he's obviously, with that length, it allows him to do that. But offensively, he has been a revelation. You could argue that he has been the most consistent Knicks player all season. You could argue he's the best in terms of both sides of the ball. And a lot of people, and I'm buying into this comparison, are making him a comparison now to be a Kawhi light, a Kawhi Leonard light. What OG has been able to do offensively. Now, this game showed a lot of what he's been able to do all season, whether it's creating offense off of defensive turnovers, which the Knicks got their hands dirty plenty of times defensively tonight. So you have that. OG in transition. You have OG taking catch and shoot threes. You have OG a little bit off the dribble into the mid-range, and he's making some difficult shots. He's also cutting backdoor and just trying to keep defenses on their heels, but you can't with OG Anunoby. And the Knicks' ball movement tonight was phenomenal, obviously displayed by the 45 assists, but allowing OG to grow with Jalen Brunson. Obviously, they're getting chemistry. They're going to be their second season playing together. You could really say 1.5. Karl Anthony Towns spaces out the floor, makes the paint wide open. You have Mikal Bridges, who had an off night, but when he's at his best, he's a three-pointer machine. You have Josh Hart, who sets screens, and at times, yes, defenses will sag off of him, but there are times the Knicks will use him as a roll man, and he'll be effective offensively. And he's the engineer for the Knicks transition offense, which played a big role tonight. OG Anunoby should be in the All-Star conversation. You want to compare him to RJ Barrett? I think this was brought up by a post of Let's Talk Knicks, comparing the stats. RJ averaging 23, OG averaging 17 before this game. You look at both sides of the ball and the way he impacts this team and how important he is by watching the Knicks every single game. He absolutely deserves to be an all-star. You could argue all-NBA. I don't know if we're there yet, but maybe in terms of defense, he's all NBA, and I think that's been a conversation for a while. But OG Anunoby has been the best player on this team, and thank God, knock wood, please let him stay healthy. So another player that has also caught fire for the Knicks in recent games has been Jalen Brunson. Now tonight, he was a plus 19 on the floor, 23 points, 17 assists, a career high. And Jalen Brunson, as I mentioned earlier in the intro, I said that there's this tired narrative that he doesn't pass the ball. He's a ball hog. But Brunson has grown with his teammates. Obviously, this is the best personnel that he's played with. Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, and Karl Anthony Towns in terms of the starting lineup and the spacing aspect. So Brunson is able to get double teamed and find the open man. He's able to convert pick and pops. He's capable of converting pick and rolls when the defense starts to hedge those screens and they leave Towns wide open for a roll to the paint. OG Anunoby open in the corners. Mikal Bridges open on the corners. Even moving off ball to the wings, getting to their spots. Jalen Brunson has that basketball IQ to know where guys are. He only had 2 turnovers tonight, which is a plus. And also, as well, the Knicks only had less than 10 turnovers tonight, which is phenomenal. And Jalen Brunson, once again, the Knicks have a chance to have 3 All-Stars on their team. That's without a doubt. Jalen Brunson has caught fire, and that's exactly what the Knicks need. I'd say 4 out of the 5 in the starting lineup have caught consistency and have the chemistry together. It's all about Mikal Bridges turning a consistent corner and being consistent on both sides of the ball, in which he was not, unfortunately, tonight. Now, moving to Karl Anthony Towns, what more can you say about him? Double-double machine. 15 rebounds, 30 points, plus 21 from the floor. He did have 4 turnovers. Big deal. 4 personal fouls. 3 steals, 4 assists. I mean, what more can you say about Karl Anthony Towns and his impact on the offensive side of the ball? Passes the ball well, shoots the ball well from 3. He's converting on these Jalen Brunson pick and rolls. You could see the 2-man game between both of them. What's more to say about Karl Anthony Towns and his offensive impact? Yes, he had a very bad shooting night against the Utah Jazz, but he gained form. He returned, and with a big bounce-back game that was crucial to the Knicks win. And overall, just going the overall sentiment of this team. Now, this team has been labeled inconsistent. And that's a fair comparison. You see games like tonight where they blow out the Denver Nuggets and the offense is firing on all cylinders. You see the previous game to this, the Utah Jazz, where defense isn't in sync. They're having trouble with communication. They're having trouble with making certain shots. Mikal Bridges was ineffective. He was benched down the stretch in the fourth quarter. Karl Anthony Towns airballing some threes. So I understand the label of inconsistency around this team, but I get that, and I get it from the people who are saying that, and the people that are saying that are right. This team has been labeled inconsistent. They're 10-7, good record. Could they have more ones on the schedule? Absolutely. You didn't need to lose to Houston. You didn't need to lose to Atlanta. That should be at least 2 more wins on the schedule. But there are fans that are frustrated with this team because, and they're not frustrated because of tonight's win, they're frustrated because they see the overall potential. Like, this team has obviously the Knicks are not going to score 145 points tonight. That's not going to happen. That's ungodly. But to be obviously the second or first best offense in the entire NBA, they absolutely have the potential to be with this 5-out lineup. It's just that the Knicks need to form some sort of consistency because this is the potential that they can be. High-scoring offense, capable defense. It doesn't have to be a top 5 defense. If they're top 10, if they're top 15, if their defense is decent and then they start to get pieces like Precious Achiuwa and Mitchell Robinson back and they're a more formidable defensive unit, when you start to really mix in those lineups with the bigs, this team has the potential to do something special this year. And we already knew that from the expectations we already set on this team. But the energy coming, and this team has also been labeled soft by some people, the energy coming out from a bounce back from a bad loss to Utah was just impeccable. The energy was there. They were playing with pace. They were communicating well on defense. They were getting steals. The energy was just there, and it was basically transmittable throughout every player. Cameron Payne, 11 points off the bench. Deuce McBride, 13 points off the bench, especially in his first game back from injury. That's what you needed. You needed the bench to get hot, and that's what happened. The energy is good around this team. They just got to find some consistency. Great win tonight. Keep it going against Dallas. And I'll just say real quick, for a little programming note before I sign off, Wednesday, 7:30, I'll be live with Dylan from Empire Sports Media, Fireside Knicks, Dylan Backer. His links will be in the description. But impressive win tonight. Let's keep building on it. Finish out this West Coast trip strong. Finish out this road trip strong before we go home on Sunday to play the Pelicans. If you guys haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe as well, share it out. Also tap that notification bell so you know when I go live or I put out a new video. This was one good victory. Let's keep building some more. Get a winning streak. May the month of December be special. Peace.